This is Amateur Logic, episode 133 for August 15th, 2019. This episode of Amateur Logic is brought to you by MFJ, the world leaders in ham radio accessories at mfjenterprises.com, and by Icom. Make the most out of contest season with the new Icom transceiver that's best suited for your lifestyle. Good evening and welcome to another action-packed episode of Amateur Logic. I'm George.
I'm Tommy.
And I'm Emil.
And boy, it is going to be a hot time in the old town tonight. With the air conditioner off in here, I'm expecting it could reach 90 degrees. So if you hear a little hum or a little hiss come up in the background all of a sudden, you'll know I gave in and turned the air conditioner back on.
Well, I can't say I blame you.
Boy, a heat wave. Man, I was in Florida last week on vacation, and it was cooler down there than it is here.
Yeah. It's pretty miserable. It's hotter there than it is over here in Texas.
Yeah, and it's probably hotter where email is by 2 or 3 degrees than it is here.
Absolutely. The heat and the humidity together will wipe you out. It's hovering around 115, 118 as far as the index goes.
Wow. It was between 110 and 115 in this area today. Very, very hot. Don't want to spend any time outdoors when it's like that. And why would you?
But not as hot as this show. I'm sure of it.
There you go. Especially
That's a good point.
After the air conditioner's been off about 10 or 15 minutes in here. If I start coming out of this shirt now, you'll know why.
It's not that kind of show.
No, it's not. It's really not. Well, anytime we are doing this kind of show, though, where is it? It's not there.
Incidentally, since you're having that, you didn't put your VLC player in full screen mode.
I didn't.
You can see the title in the bottom control bar.
Okay.
When you were playing.
Wait a minute. I hear your air conditioner running. You better turn that off.
Actually, I think that's the refrigerator. Something just came on over there, but the air conditioner is over there.
Okay.
I think it's the refrigerator.
Is it running? Is it running right now? You better catch it. I couldn't pass it up. I'm sorry.
Anytime we've got a show streaming live, we've got a chat room at the same time. AmateurLogic.TV/chat. What's going on in there tonight, Emil?
Oh, man. They got some people in here. And good old Tom, as usual, and lots of hijinks. And like you say, all the time, if you're not in that chat room, you're missing. How do you phrase it?
That's Tommy.
You're missing half the fun.
Yeah.
But the question is, and you know what the question is.
Which half?
Yep.
Which half?
Okay,
that's up to you to find out.
Well, that's about as far as we can stretch that. So let's move on into the show tonight. It has been warm here. It's August in Mississippi, so we expect that. And I assume you suspect that in Louisiana as well. Probably most of the country.
It's August in Texas, too.
Do tell. I understand someone here in the group got an internet upgrade this week.
Oh yeah, that would probably be me.
Uh-oh. Hold on.
Yep.
Let me get my
Actually, I
notepad.
did. I got signed up for the gigabyte or gigabit plan.
Yep.
Okay, don't
Wait a minute.
don't put me on the naughty list because
Does this
I
have
actually
monthly
saved
recurring?
money. I changed my plan. My bill went down and my internet speed went up.
It went down from what? 1,000 or 2,000?
I saved about $45 a month.
All right. Okay.
$40.
I can't argue. Okay.
And you increased, what was your old speed?
I don't know. It was right at 300, but now it's 1 gigabit, which I think the time I only checked it really the once, and I was getting like 968 or something like that down.
Yeah. I may be changing to that package when my current package expires. And especially if I can save $45, right, Emil?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the magic words right there. Save.
So
More cheaper, excuse me, more cheaper, more better, right?
That's right.
yeah, that coming from the guy who's got a pair of clips, Cornwalls, in his garage.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Wow. Well, let's get on into the emails here. Oh, one thing before we go any further. Huntsville Ham Fest coming up this weekend. I'm going to be there. Bob Heil is going to be there. Don Wilbanks is going to be there. Our friend Chip, K9MIT from the chat room, is supposed to be there. You two guys ought to just pack up and come on over as well.
Well, I got something that I've been planning to do, and if it rains, if I get rained out, I will come. But it just really depends on the weather. The way it's been going lately, you can't ever really tell. It's rained so much. So I just have to, it's a game day decision there.
Yeah. I just got to mention, I mean, not to change the subject, but yeah, I'm changing the subject.
But it is a different subject.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Kevin, ZL1KFM, said he just went from ADSL in New Zealand, $92, to 1 gig fiber for $98. So only $6 more. Is he okay, Emil?
Oh man, I don't know that I can get past those first two numbers, but the difference, if you just look at the difference, okay.
If you look at the dollar per megabit, he actually saved a ton of money.
Well,
that's true.
Yeah, but if you figure in the exchange rate,
but it's still a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you figure it up per meg, there's a way to justify anything if you spin it hard enough.
Well, Kevin, you'll have to give us a report. Let us know if you notice any peppier performance on the internet. I suspect you might. Well, we've got a few emails here tonight, and some of them are featuring some people that you might know. Maybe even this first one right here. Tommy, what have you got there for an email?
I was afraid I was going to be first.
Yep.
I wasn't able to print mine tonight. Okay, I've got one from our friend Nigel, Laird Nigel P. Lawrence. It says, hello, George Thomas, W5JDX, Tommy, N5ZNO, and Emil. I'm writing you this email. The reason is I worked Peter Barrett, DL/VK3PB, when he was touring around Europe and visited Friedrichshafen, and I probably just butchered that all up. The Hamfest in South Germany. We chatted via Echo Link on your repeater, W5PPB-R, last month, and Peter forgot to add the date when he made the contact, but it's on my QSL card. I sent it directly to his home address in Australia. Anyway, please note the time of contact, 8:30 hours GMT. My call sign is KG0PL. that was tough. So anyway, and there's the picture of the back of the contact. Sure enough, he forgot the date on there, but I'm sure that was just an oversight. But that's I thought that was kind of cool. Nigel's in England, Peter was in Germany, and they chatted on the Echo Link with Peter in Mississippi.
I have an email here. This comes from Bill Turner, W4WNT, and he said he enjoyed our field day discussions, and he saw me talking on Ham Nation about the vertical antenna that I used at field day. He said he missed something in the description of my 43-foot vertical. He said you were on 40 meters and then you switched to 20 meters somehow. Was it an alligator clip connection at 16.6 feet or some other method? It's the MFJ 43-foot telescopic fiberglass masser. It's a real lightweight one. I mean, that thing you can carry it around with one hand, just throw it over your shoulder. And it's short, about 4 feet tall, and extends out to 43 feet. So, yeah, you can easily put up a lot of different kind of verticals with it. What I did is I just cut a number of ground radials. I cut 2 for each band that I was interested in operating on. And you can see it right there. I've just got a couple of them hooked on there now on the ground tab. I've got a 10 and a 15, and you can see there's 2 wires on each. I would just take those and spread them out over the ground in opposite directions. And I had a few more bands on there as well, 20 and 40. Can't remember. I probably may have had 17 on there too. And 10, I think. Yeah, well, there is 10 right there. Anyway, you can see coming out of the center pin there of that SO239, that is my radiating element right there. That runs up the pole. And I cut it the correct length for 40 meters. And then I just ran it up the pole. Well, I segmented it into different pieces using some of these little crimp-on push connectors. So I calculated out how long an antenna needed to be for each of the other bands, 10, 15, 20, so on. And I just cut the antenna wire to the right lengths for that, and then put in the crimp connectors there. So depending on which band I wanted to be in, I would just change how many, segments of that wire was actually hooked in and change bands like that. It worked out good. Real easy to do. Email, you'll like this part. Real cheap. So that's
looks like about 75 cents worth of parts.
Well, the wire was a little more than that because I did buy it new. I didn't steal it off the pole out here.
Oh, well, that changes things.
We're just working hard. Got it.
Okay. And the tripod there that I use, that was a repurposed model as well. That was one that was used to mount a TV antenna or something on a building. A friend of mine had taken it off a roof and stored it away, and I just kind of borrowed it and worked out good for my purposes here.
Definitely.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say repurpose is definitely in the cheap dictionary.
Yeah, that thing's actually come in handy several times. That old tripod thing.
Oh yeah, we've had more than one type of antenna on it before, so it's been pretty convenient. Well, Tommy, I know you've got a new device you've been playing with here lately. Tell us about it.
Yeah, when we were in Dayton, I bought a Zoom Spot, and although I did set it up on my computer for work, I didn't set it up at home, and I've been promising I'd do a video on it, and it's pretty neat and doesn't get much easier. I guess it was last month we talked about what we got when we went to Hamvention this year. One of my items was this Zoom Spot, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how easy this thing is to set it up. I did set it up on my work laptop, and it's probably the easiest way to set up a hotspot on your computer. We're going to use the Blue DV software again, which I'm a big fan of that. So anyway, let's go ahead and proceed. I bought the one, there are 2 devices, at least 2 devices, maybe more, that are the Zoom Spots. Well, I bought the least expensive one. I've already got a DVAP, but it doesn't really support some of the other digital modes, and it doesn't support the Blue DV software. This one looks surprisingly like the Thumb DV from Northwest Digital Radio, except it comes with a little mini antenna. Let's go ahead and hook it up. I'm going to hook this one up through the little USB hub I have on my computer. I haven't installed any software. We're going to download Blue DV after we get this going and it finds it, recognizes it. Now I'm using Windows 10 and we should not have to put any drivers on there. Setting up device, Maple 003, whatever Maple 003 is. And it's done. So let's go confirm it. We can go to the control panel, device manager. We'll use that. We'll go to ports, and there it is on COM3, USB serial device. Let's remember that COM3 is where it's set up. Now let's go get the Blue DV software, pa7lim.nl/Blue DV. And so we will go into the Windows section because I'm running Windows 10. And let's go down through here. He's got some good information. There's the Zoom radio stuff right there. And we'll go down here to find where we download it. Hey, look at this. There's an AmateurLogic segment on there. Huh, go figure. Here we go. How it all works. Download the software. So let's go into there. It's called a beta folder, but the software has been very stable for me. There's a pre-beta, but we'll go into here and we'll get the latest one, which would be 9550. And we'll go ahead and open it up. Let's copy this over to our desktop. Let's install. More info, run anyway. You've seen this before when we were doing the Peanut software, so it's basically very similar. Next, and I'll just take the defaults. Let's make this easy. Close. Now there's our Blue DV. And like I say, you've seen this software before. It's very similar. So let's go ahead and let's do the setup. And I've got my stuff set up here in 5Z&O. The frequency is 445.6. My latitude and longitude, which I don't think these are right, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. You can set those and you'll show up on the aprs.fi site, your location if you want to. For the D-Star module, I'm going to be module B because I'm on UHF. I do want the APRS on, and this is what activates sending your coordinates. So I will leave APRS on. I'm going to put my DMR ID in here. I do have one, so I'll go ahead and put that in there. And I want to use the Brandmeister network on here. 3108 US is the DMR master that I normally use. I do have one of the little cheap DMR radios I bought a long time ago to play with, but I don't use it very often. Anyway, but I'll go ahead and set that up. And the next thing we want to do is we want to use COM3 and use these default settings and click save. So we will open the serial port. Ooh, that didn't work out too well, did it? We're going to need to update the D-Star hosts and update the call database. Make sure we've got the latest data here. Oh, we're not using the Thumb DV. We're going to use COM3. Save. Okay, it does find it. There's my frequency we set. It shows my zoom spot here. And we can enable D-Star. The nice thing about this software, which we've glanced at this before, is we can pick the reflectors that we want. So let's go ahead and connect to a reflector. Let's do 1 Charlie. That's usually pretty busy. Link.
A1GNT.
Link to REF001C.
That is super, super easy. I just don't see how anything could be much easier to get on. The little zoom spot is very cheap in a relative sense. I think I paid like just a little over $100 for it. So it's very reasonable. Like I say, there's one with a display on it, but I didn't really feel like I needed that because I mainly wanted it small and something to throw in my computer bag when I'm traveling. Let's unlink here. I have more flexibility than I did. I can do the DCS reflectors now if I want to, the X reflectors. All these are all set up here. The XLX, I don't even know what that is. I guess that's fairly new. If you wanted to do DMR, you could do that. Let's try Connect without using the dashboard here. So I'm going to go to, on my radio, I'm going to go in just like I normally do, go to your call sign, and I'm going to link to 1 Charlie, and I'm going to key up. And let's see what's on the screen.
Link to REF001C.
Well, that worked, and you can see that it found me. These guys look familiar. So that worked.
Link to REF014C.
Okay, we're linked to 14. N6 PTS in 5Z&O.
Well, good afternoon. Thanks for coming back. I think N5Z and something. So, name here is Rick, and we're just mobiling on our way to see our next client here in sunny California up here near heading toward the city right now, and it doesn't look overcast, thank goodness. So, how's your day going?
At QSL, the name's Tommy here, and the call is November 5 Zulu November Oscar on the end. You're having a great day here. It's a Friday, the end of the week, and got a new little piece of hardware I'm trying to set up and test it out. I got a zoom spot when I went to Dayton this year, and I'm just now getting around to getting it configured on my computer. Yeah, QSL, yeah, I enjoyed it. Have a safe trip out there, and good to hear from you. Maybe I'll catch you sometime soon. N5Z&O. Well, there you go. It worked so easy. Like I said, it couldn't have been much easier. Pretty inexpensive also, so there's not really much reason not to get on digital modes. Hope this helped some of you. Hope you enjoyed it.
Well, Tommy, that looked pretty easy to me.
It doesn't get any easier than that to get on D-Star or
No.
get on any of the 3 digital modes. It'll do Fusion too. I just had no way to try that stuff. But anyway, it's easy and cheap.
Yep.
Nice.
Cheap.
Woo!
Do I get extra points for that?
Yep. Cheap and easy.
Well,
That Blue DV software, that's pretty awesome stuff, man. David, he did a great job on that. I don't know if you guys have ever used it, but it's so easy to use. It just works really well. I've yet to have a problem out of it.
cool. Well, I took the opportunity to go get a little fan and stick over here while that was playing. It feels a little better. It's in the 80s now, so
Just stirring around the hot air.
there you go. Which is better than it just kind of like sitting there. Well, we've got a lot more to go, and we're going to be right back. But first, we've got a message here from MFJ. And this is a new product a lot of you may have heard about, and some maybe not. Tommy and I both got some here recently, and I've got mine set up and working now. And we'll be looking at them further in the future. After months of extensive development and testing, it's finally here and ready to take remote operation to another level. The new RigPi station server from MFJ and Howard Nurse W6HN is going to change the way you think about getting on the air. Why be bound by the four walls of your ham shack when you can take it with you wherever you go? The MFJ 1234 RigPi lets you operate from anywhere you have an internet connection on your Apple or Android mobile device, iPad, tablet, Kindle, laptop, or desktop computer without additional hardware. Just fire up any web browser and get on the air. RigPi connects to most any transceiver with CAT control. Operate single sideband, CW, AM, FM, digital, or any mode your radio supports. Operate your rotor, CW keying, digital modes, logging, spot monitoring, call book lookups, and more. 32 user-programmable macros let you control the features you want. 2 or more hams from different locations can operate different radios at the same time using a single RigPi. The MFJ 1234 Raspberry Pi's Raspbian operating system comes with many free programs installed, like FT8, RIDI, WSJTX, FLDigi, a word processor, email, and spreadsheet. Plus, thousands of Linux-based programs, including many for ham radio, are available. The RigPi station server is available as separate modules, allowing you to customize it a piece at a time, or get the complete unit with RigPi base, OS firmware, audio board, and CW keyer board. The RigPi audio board connects to your radio and serves send and receive audio to your mobile device, or use it to operate digital modes like FT8 and FLDigi. It includes IQ inputs for use in pen adapters and has built-in isolation transformers for RF and hum-free audio. The keyer board generates perfect Morse code using the popular K1EL WinKeyer chip. Just connect your favorite paddle. Software modules for RigPi will be available on GitHub as a free open-source download, so you can add your own features in the future. Get your MFJ 1234 RigPi today and take your remote operation to the next level. MFJ, the world leaders in ham radio accessories at mfjenterprises.com. And that is a really neat little device. Didn't take me too long to get it set up, and it just works. I mean, what else can you say about it? You just turn it on and it works. Nice.
Yeah, I've got to get mine set up. I'm dying to finish it up.
Yeah. Emil, I understand that you have been doing a little investigative work here recently, compiling a report of some suspicious activity.
Uh-oh.
I don't think people really appreciate or understand some of the struggles you guys have of operating in the southern, the woods down there in southern Mississippi. You guys have to overcome a lot of obstacles that I think people don't realize, when you're clearing the site or setting up and operating. So I just wanted to share what might not be known. I think you might have a bad fuel rod there in that generator. Not sure. Maybe that's why it makes so much noise, George. And Tommy, what a catch. Most people don't look up in the trees for those, but he does a job. And George, I'm not so sure it might be a good idea to operate nuclear generator and cobweb antennas at the same time. And on this one, I'm pretty sure Wayne might have lost some blood. The mosquitoes can get pretty good in Mississippi woods, I know. And here, I think we have a visit from some old, well-known friends here. I'm not sure if that's the same people or maybe. And George, I'm not sure what I don't think I would touch a Sasquatch with a 10-foot pole either. But I don't know if you were taunting them there or what. And the woods here, the war of the woods. You got to watch out for these things when they sneak up on you. And if, when Tommy was running out, I don't know if he saw with that gimbal he was walking around with, if he saw that crowd back there, but it can get pretty treacherous.
Boy, it was, and I don't know if I can back up to it right there. Those walkers that are there, I don't know that everyone can fully appreciate what it is they're walking up on there. Tommy knows what that facility is. There's a little thing sitting out there in the middle of the field.
Yeah, I hope they don't trip over it.
Yeah, that's Wayne's portable toilet. We have yet to understand why he put it in the middle of the field, and I guess it was to make it easier access for guests who might show up.
Or,
Maybe that's why they all showed up there for it.
I know I figured it was the noise of the Coleman, but I'm thinking it might have been that. Like I said, I don't think people really appreciate the struggles you guys, have to clear out first.
Well,
Yeah, but you would think it would be pretty isolated, but clearly you can see there's a lot of activity out there in those woods.
yeah. Yeah, you would think out in the middle of the field like that would be a perfect place to put a toilet, but no. And the spiders and mosquitoes, I did not realize they were that big. I mean, I knew they were bad, but wow.
Yeah, I had a couple of them that big too.
Well, shout out to V3MIC on that. He's always a great contributor of those struggles.
Yeah, I noticed there was one shot there that seemed to be missing. The one there where I was poking the stick at Bigfoot.
Yeah.
There was another version of that you could see what was tied on the end of the stick. I was fishing.
I want to say it was some Canadian bacon and some beer.
It was something like that, yeah. Tommy, you have got another email here that it seemed like there was some confusion last month other than just the things that email uncovered.
Yeah, I got another one here. It's from Francis W1FXX. He says, I noticed you're wearing a Martin guitar t-shirt. Are you a Martin owner? Which one? I own a 60s D35, love of my life guitar-wise. I was recently gifted a 1947 D28. Wow, I included a couple of photos, and nobody really likes your shows, huh? Keep up the great work. 73 Francis. And yeah, that's the shirt. And unfortunately, I don't own any Martin guitars. I don't even play, although it's one of the things I wish I would have taken up. I just never did. I used to own a Yamaha, but I really got the shirt mostly because of the name. Anyway, I appreciate the email, but nope, I don't own any. Maybe one of these days.
Email, have you ever played any Martins?
I have, and definitely not cheap old man compliant.
No.
But well worth playing.
Yep, I can understand that.
I'd like to learn one day when I can afford taking up yet another hobby.
Yeah.
I've already got so many.
I think it takes a little dedication to get good at it.
That's how it is with everything.
Yeah, email
that causes time.
We'll have to pull out the face melting solo version of the theme song here again soon. And
yeah, maybe that'd inspire me.
yeah, there you go.
Or melt your face, one of the two.
Email, you have an email, I believe.
I do. A friend over in England, Terry, 2E0IPK, wanted us to check out a solution he made for his a bracket for his car, for his Kenwood HT, his D74. There's a piece of string there you can see, wrapped around his headrest that he uses to mount that on a seat. I think he wins the CHX certification for this episode. Not necessarily for the radio, but definitely the car bracket for his that he came up with. So definitely dirt cheap, Terry. Good job.
That is cheap, and plus you can save money because people won't ask you for a lift because you don't have any room for them to sit down.
Yeah. And also, you won't need an external speaker because with it being right there,
That's right.
You know?
That's right. Yeah.
plenty of volume.
Nice one.
Let's see what's next here. Well, I've got a little segment here I put together of part of a project that I have been working on. I actually have I've deployed the project now, and it is in the wild out on the internet and has been working like a charm. You may remember I mentioned something about I was working on a device to reboot the internet.
After you downloaded it?
Uh-oh.
It works. It's out there. It's running on a Raspberry Pi. I had to do a little hardware modification to make it happen. I'm going to show you the whole project later and give you the links to where you can download the software and all, and make one for yourself, because there are occasions where you may want to do something like this. But the first thing you got to do is, let's just look at this here. There's something you might want to know about those cheap relay boards that you find on the internet. The price is right, but there's a little quirk, and here's how you solve it. You know, when you start messing around with things like microcontrollers or small computers, you may eventually decide that you want to control something with it. However, the GPIO outputs on these devices just won't sink or source much current, so you've got to be real careful with what you connect to it. In these cases, it's often really handy to be able to just connect a relay to it, but you can't do that directly. You have to use some transistor circuitry to actually drive the relay. If you do a little searching around on the internet, you'll find a ton of little 4-channel relay modules, 8 relay modules at very low prices, starting around $7. Now, there's no way you could build that yourself that cheap, so why not try one of these? They all look pretty much the same. There are a few slight differences. These could even be manufactured by the same company and just sold under different names. Let's take a look at the schematic. On the left-hand side, we can see the input, and there's an LED first thing up, and then that runs to an opto-isolator, and we can see at the top of the LED on that opto-isolator, there's a resistor going to our positive voltage. That means if we put a ground on the input, it'll light that LED, both the one that we see and the one inside the opto-isolator. When that happens, the transistor in the opto-isolator will switch on, and then that will switch on the NPN transistor further down the circuit, and that'll engage the relay. And then we can connect whatever we want to the contacts of that relay. I believe these are generally rated up to about 10 amps, so that's pretty good for an awful lot of applications. And it's a single pole double throw relay, so we've got normally closed and normally open contacts available. Of the ones I've seen so far, the build quality looks pretty decent, and the price is, it's great. There's one little quirk though. May not be a problem in a lot of applications, but in some it could be. And that's the fact that these relays activate when you take the input low rather than when you take it high. And there's a reason they do that. Unfortunately, the Raspberry Pi and the Arduinos both have a tendency, when you first run a program and it initializes the GPIO ports, it switches them low. Let's watch as I run a program designed to use the relays with a Raspberry Pi. Yeah, that might not be a problem in some applications, but in others, you wouldn't want those stray relay closures happening. Well, we can change this behavior with a couple of modifications to the relay boards. Here's a schematic of the unit as shipped. And as I mentioned earlier, you take the input to a low state and that activates a relay. We need to reverse that so that the relays activate when we go to a high state. That means changing just a couple of things here. You can see at the top where we did have positive voltage before, now that's going to be our input. And on the left-hand side of that LED, where it used to be the input, we just tie that to ground. So we need to move that resistor and LED on the board for each channel. And here's where they're located. The LEDs are located in a row across the bottom, and the resistors are labeled R1, R4, R5, and R8. And a word of caution, there are several revisions of this board and the components may be in slightly different locations. It's a good idea to take an ohm meter and verify that the components you're dealing with are the correct ones. Now you can see I've already removed the LEDs across here, and I've modified the first channel. There's the LED. I just took it and turned it downward so the left-hand side of the LED remains in the same position. I've also put a ground bus across the bottom of the LEDs there that we soldered to. Now the pin that remains goes to pin 2 of these opto-isolator chips. So you can ohm that out to make sure that you're on the right place. We also need to move the resistors that we talked about earlier, and you can see I've already done the first one. I turned that resistor down from the left-hand side and soldered a jumper lead to the other end of it, and that runs down to the pin where the LED was soldered. Now that pin runs over to the input connectors. I tried using my desoldering station. It didn't work too good for removing these resistors. I found out it worked best if I took 2 soldering irons, heated up each side of a resistor, and slid it out of place. There's the first one right there. Now, these components are delicate, especially the LEDs, so be real careful doing this. This next one here, it got stuck to the end of my soldering iron. I had to kind of shake it off. Like I said, you do need to be careful with these things. It did survive the experience. And there's the last one. Now I'm going to tape the board down with some painter's masking tape just to hold it in place. First we're going to install the LEDs here, and I noticed when I took them off that they were marked polarity-wise, so I observed that when reinstalling them here. Now it's a little difficult to get them in position. These are tiny components, and it's probably impossible to do this without a good set of tweezers, because it's very difficult to do it with a set of tweezers. I did manage to get them all done though. To hold the components in place while I soldered, I took a toothpick and put it in the end of a clamp and set that on top of the components to give them a little weight. Then I used a very fine tip soldering iron to go in and tack these back in place using just a tiny dab of solder. Don't need a whole lot. Then I took the tweezers and checked each LED to make sure they were soldered good in place. And next we're going to solder the other side of them to this ground bus wire I've installed. I scraped a little bit of the solder mask off the bottom side of the board and soldered the wire over to it. You can see there's 2 spots there. I was going to do it in one position, then decided the other was better. And that didn't take very long, just a couple of minutes. Now we'll move on to the resistors. These are a bit more complicated. Put a resistor in the alligator clip there. Soldered a little piece of wire to the end of it. The next step was a little fishing expedition. These opto-isolators have a little space between them and the board, so I put the resistor down there and ran the jumper wire up under the opto-isolator since there was room, and then soldered it down, there again using the left pad as I had mentioned earlier. Then we needed to take the other end of that lead and run it to where it would be connected to the input of the channel. And that would be the pad that used to go to the LEDs that are no longer in use. And we need to make sure that we don't short that wire out on anything on its way to the pad. We'll check it just to make sure we got a good tight connection there. And now I've done all 4 resistors. You can see them there, turned sideways. The jumper wire is attached down to the previous input pins. One of them's a little different though. You can see I've replaced that resistor with a 2.2 k ohm traditional radio lead resistor. That's because this one got damaged in the process. You'll notice one end is not shiny. That's where it broke off when I was trying to solder on the jumper wire. So this stuff is kind of delicate and you got to be gentle with it. Yeah, if I thought better and had enough resistors, I would have just replaced all of those. It would have been much simpler. Now let's see if all the channels still work after this modification. I've connected up ground and +5 to the board. And I've got one remaining test lead here with +5 on it. And I'm going to touch it to each of them and see what happens. The LED comes on and we hear the click. So that's number one's working. Number two is working. Number three works. And number four works. So we've got success. Previously, we would have had to ground each of those input pins to get a relay energized. Now we can do it with +5, and our Arduino and Raspberry Pis will be much happier this way and won't be throwing those stray relay closures. That's how I spent my summer vacation. No.
Nice.
No, not really. That was, that after I've done it, there are a couple of things I would have done different. As I mentioned, I would have just taken some regular old 1/8 watt resistors and just not worried about those surface mount ones, just replaced them with those, and it would have been a little easier there. The LEDs, though, you need to salvage the ones that are on the board because, well, they're real tiny, but they're much brighter than a regular LED. I tried using a regular LED in place of them. Just, you could barely see it. And so you better stick with those unless you've got a source for some, high brilliance surface mount LEDs. But a few things that you need to be aware of when you're using something like this on an Arduino or particularly on a Raspberry Pi. You don't want to draw too much current on those I/O pins or you're going to burn out a pin in your device. And Tommy and I have both had that happen on the Arduinos before. I measured these out. They draw just a little under 2 milliamps each. So you're safe there. No problem with that. These things are cheap, man. This is an 8 relay version here and it was under $10. How can you beat that? And each channel has an opto isolator on it, as you saw there. So that gives you good isolation between this relay board and your Pi or your Arduino. And it also has the transistor driver to energize the relays on there, the diodes, LED indicators, and screw terminal strips, So you can't really beat the price on them. I don't know how good the relays are. I haven't had an issue with them yet, but I bought several of these. They were so cheap. I'm going to use this in my evil plan to control the world.
Oh, wow. We have those?
One relay at a time. So.
Relay.
Well, that's a good start.
Yeah. No, these things are fantastic, because you're going to want to do something eventually. If you like hacking with those things, you're going to want to control something eventually, and it's a good chance you're going to need a relay to keep from burning up your device.
I've got one of those. I think I got it at the Radio Shack clearance thing. I actually might have two of them. I think I ordered one on Amazon, and I know for sure I've got one of them I got up from Radio Shack. I think it's a 4 relay version.
Yeah.
Tommy, we're going to have to keep an eye on George. First, he's shutting off the internet, and now he's plotting to take over the world one relay at a time.
A relay at a time, yep. It's going to end up on some kind of list.
Just for clarity, I was not shutting off the internet. I was just rebooting it because it quit working.
Oh.
So, just to clarify there. Actually, well, I'll talk more about it in the future, but neat little project using satellite internet, and it's in a remote location. Sometimes the satellite will lock up, so I just set a Pi there to ping Google every so often, and if it misses a certain number of pings, it just power cycles. Thanks to the little relays, it's no trouble at all to control a 110 volt device. Well, we've got a little more to go here tonight, but I think we need to take a quick break so I can turn the air conditioner back on. And let's get just a quick message from Icom, and we'll be right back. And got an announcement, too.
Heard it, worked it, logged it. It's time to get the transceiver that's best suited for your lifestyle. Icom offers a variety of high-performance and innovative products. Make the most out of contest season with one of these Icoms today. IC7610, the SDR every ham wants. This high-performance SDR has the ability to pick out the faintest of signals, even in the presence of stronger adjacent signals. The Icom IC7610 is a direct sampling, software-defined radio that will change the world's definition of a SDR transceiver. RF direct sampling, 110 RMDR, independent dual receivers, and dual digicell. Or get the IC7300. Changing the way entry-level HF is designed, this high-performance, innovative HF transceiver with a compact design will far exceed your expectations. RF direct sampling, 15 discrete bandpass filters, large 4.3-inch color touchscreen, real-time spectrum scope, and SD memory card slot. Keep your competitive edge with faster processors, higher input gain, higher display resolution, and a cleaner signal. Icom's IC7851 is the pinnacle of HF perfection. Dual receivers, digital IF filters, memory keyer, digital voice recorder, high-resolution spectrum waterfall display, enhanced PC connectivity, and SD memory card slot. Visit IcomAmerica.com/amateur for more information on all the great Icom radios.
And Icom is going to help us celebrate our birthday or anniversary or whatever you want to call it coming up soon here in October. AmateurLogic will be celebrating 14 years. Yep. It sounds like a perfect opportunity to give away a new radio and
It does.
a prize package to some lucky viewer. And we're going to do that. I don't really know what radio just yet because we've just started discussing it, but it'll be a new Icom rig. We'll be having more details coming up soon on all our social media platforms and on the shows here, and we'll let you know all about it and what other items may be added to that package to kind of sweeten the deal. And email it. Not for you now, you're not eligible, but for our viewers, it will cost nothing to enter. So I know you can get behind that.
The cost of nothing. That's it.
Yep. So more details coming on that very soon. So stay in touch and we'll let you know. And thanks Icom for helping us make that happen again this year. It's not the first year. We've been doing it for a number of years now. I've got another email here. This one comes from, who does this one come from? Dave, N4CWZ. He said, well, hi, George. Just want to let you know how much I enjoy the show and how y'all had a good field day. He really enjoyed that. Looking forward to the shows that y'all did. And it was rough here at field day. Conditions were bad, and it rained about 1.5 inches where he is. Usually, he says they put up a big score, but not this year. Anyhow, have to go back and watch some of the first shows, and he's been enjoying them. He said, man, I love the ponytail. You need to do it again. Really cool. Now, I thought for a while you were going to as your hair got longer, but then you got a haircut. 7-3 and take care, Dave, and for CWZ. No, I had thought about it, Dave, but one of my interim steps was going to be the mullet there, like Tommy used to sport. And
Wow.
yeah, when he pulled that out of the photo album, I had to go get a haircut immediately. Tommy's new hairstyle. This was it right here, courtesy of Mike VE3MIC.
Yeah, that's when I was making some extra money scooping ice cream.
Yeah, from Stranger Things.
Stranger Things, yeah.
Yeah, here's what ended up with mine.
Yeah, that's a
Nice.
dead possum. Well, Emil, I think you've got one more email, and although Peter's not on the show tonight, he seems to be getting a lot of press.
I was going to say, this is his second cameo here, or mention. So he's quite the world traveler lately too. So anyway, yeah, I got an email the other day from Peter looking for a hand on writing some scripts to help him with something that came about. I don't know if you guys remember, but from episode, I think it was 56, he presented a little amateur project for astronomy where he was looking for comets.
I remember that.
Yeah. He was looking for comets, and he's been doing quite a bit of work. From what I understand, he's already got 16 of them identified and named from his findings. So anyway, the trouble at hand was NASA decided to stop allowing the FTP protocol because it's insecure to get their historical data. Well, Peter's going back 20 years in historical data, and he wanted to know that another system came online, the Stereo project came online, and they don't have that FTP site with an index or anything that you can just grab all the files from. So he wanted to figure out how to pull that data from a website. So anyway, I helped him with a bash script using the Raspberry Pi, of course. And we got it to work, and he's pulling his data from the historical. But I thought it was fascinating that he's got 16 of them identified and named. That project is called the Sungrazer Project. And if you look that up, you'll find it. And you'll also find on their site, it's the Navy's site, actually, where their project is being run from, along with NASA's data. They've actually mentioned to Peter in this, they gave him a shout out for being a person who got all of these, they call them non-group comets identified. So good job, Peter, and great to hear from you again, and hope you're doing well out there in the down under. We'll have to come up with a name for him there, the comet down under hunter or something.
So do you think these are legit comets, Emil, or do you think he may be seeding the pool by launching his own comets?
Oh, I don't know if he's launching his own comets, George. I think what he's doing might actually protect us from the next ice age if he identifies one coming right at us,
Yeah, true.
I think I saw that movie.
Yeah, exactly. So nothing like a $35 Raspberry Pi used to help protect the Earth.
Yeah, true. Perfect device for it. It's not too expensive.
That's right.
So, yeah.
You can't go too expensive trying to protect the Earth from, destruction.
True.
If you can do it for $35 or less, I'm in for it.
Yeah. Yep. That's right. I remember when Peter first talked about that and showed us some of that stuff years ago. He was really into it, and it sounds like he's still really into it and having a good time with it. So that's great. And hopefully we'll get him on here again soon. I haven't talked to him recently, but he's still around, so maybe soon in the future he'll be back with us. We'll find out what's
it'd be
going
nice.
on.
It'd be nice to have him on for a visit sometime.
Yeah. Well, let's see. What else do we have? I think we are about to the end of another show, and just a couple of things. Now, this T-shirt I have here is a limited edition. You can't get this T-shirt, but there are Amateur Logic T-shirts available that you can
not
get.
yet. You can't get it.
Not. Oh, okay. All right.
Intriguing.
But if you needed one, not exactly like this,
But still pretty cool.
well, yeah, still pretty cool. Where would you find it?
You can find it at AmateurLogic.Spreadshirt.com. We've got T-shirts, caps, hoodies, jackets. I've been on a spree and added a whole bunch of stuff. We've got Ham College VE testing T-shirts. We've got backpacks for Ham College and Amateur Logic. We've got the Anode Rules Ham College T-shirts. That's kind of if you're a Ham College watcher, you probably pick up on that. We've got coffee mugs now. We've got Ham College Amateur Logic, and then the red one there, which you can get at different colors, actually has both logos, one on each side. Ham College on one side, Amateur Logic on the other.
Cool.
So we've been pretty busy putting some more stuff on there. I think that's the Brain logo shirt that one of the viewers sent in for us, and appreciate him for doing that. So we finally got those available, and polos and T-shirts.
And of course, the old standby. It's a little warm in here for it today, but in a few months, might be handy to have a Ham College sweatshirt there when you go to the ball game and root for the Anodes.
There you go, the Fighting Anodes.
Yep. And
So where's the show the Ham College VE shirts?
yeah, that was up top here.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Oh, that's a
So anyway, those are by request of some of you. So anyway, we've taken some of the things as you see me writing them down over there before. That's a lot of the stuff that you've mentioned. So anyway, it's all out there now, and there'll be some more things coming as well.
cool. Well, we appreciate that, Tommy. And you just never know when you're going to see somebody wearing some Amateur Logic swag somewhere.
Yeah, or an Anode Rules ball cap, or an Amateur Logic TV. You know, you could be representing pretty much anywhere.
You could. Are there Anode Rules hats yet?
I don't remember if I made Anode Rules hat. Yeah, that's a hat.
Okay.
They were in a hat.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to get the coffee mug. Now, I'll have to say I thoroughly enjoy the beverages in my MFJ coffee mug here, but it would be nice to have one that I could flip around between Amateur Logic and Ham College ever so often.
Well, now you're all set up.
I can flip it around on the back, and I've got a bunch of companies right there.
Yeah, and we appreciate every one of those.
Yep, we do. And let's see. During the month, we do this show. We shoot it around the middle of every month. But throughout the month, we're online. Just got a little social gathering going on there with a lot of our rowdy friends. And where could you join us during the month, Tommy?
Well, it's funny you ask. You can get us at facebook.com/group/AmateurLogic.TV. We're on Twitter at AmateurLogic, and we also have Ham College groups on those as well. And we also have a relatively new groups.io group, groups.io/g/AmateurLogic, and that was kind of done by request to replace Google Plus when it went away. So anyway, it's a pretty nice little service. You can get pretty much instant emails, so you can sign up for the announcements when we're going to do the live streams, and there's a little other chatter going on there. It's kind of fun. Check it out if you're not already on it.
Yep, and that's working out good. You know, where we don't post a whole lot of stuff on there. It's pretty limited, so you won't get spammed a lot or anything like that.
Yeah, there's a little chatter, but not too much. Not so much going to bother you.
Yeah.
Am I back?
You are
You
back.
All right.
You're back and you're looking better than ever.
It's that swag.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's working for you.
And the Amateur Logic Show Notes Wiki, our friend Dan N9LVS does that for us. AmateurLogic.TV/wiki. Go there and get all your favorite show notes in one location. And thanks, Dan, for doing that.
Yeah, huge thanks to Dan. That's how I found Peter's segment number.
Yep.
There
Right
you go.
back in there. Well, I'm going to be at Huntsville this weekend for the Huntsville Ham Fest. You can learn more about the Huntsville Ham Fest at hamfest.org. Fun times over there. I'm looking forward to it. I hope to see a lot of you there. It's a good ham fest. If you're in the South, you owe it to yourself to come to the Huntsville Ham Fest and check it out. You might even want to go by NASA and check out the museum while you're over there.
Tell him Peter sent you.
Well, down here at our facility, we like rattling windows and scaring animals because they test the engines down here where I'm at Stennis Space Center. And they have a really awesome, if you're ever down in this area, they have a really awesome visitor center called Infinity that you can go and walk through some of the actual modules they had on the space station and see the huge engines. And the Saturn rocket is literally on the side of this building. So it's neat stuff. And Huntsville, of course, has an awesome museum. I mean, it's just great stuff. If you're going to Huntsville, definitely go check that out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's worth the stop for sure. I've been there several times.
Yeah. Went a few years ago, Wayne and I did, and we were late getting there, so we didn't get to see but just a tiny fraction of it. But I could have spent a day in there. It was that
Oh
kind
yeah,
of stuff.
you can burn a day easy if you have time.
Yep. Well, any final words before we get out of here, Tommy?
No, it's been a fun show, and I guess we'll just see you guys about 2 weeks for Ham College and another 30 days for Amateur Logic.
And Tommy, I will say 2 thumbs up on the new motel there. You've got good internet service.
The internet is working great. I hope it holds up.
Yeah.
So.
Email?
Well, stay cool and keep it cheap for sure. Got to beat this weather for sure. So be careful and don't forget we're still in hurricane season. Just keep an eye out if you're on the coast. I don't have to tell anybody, but always keep that eye out. See what's going on out there.
Yeah, definitely. And, hope to see some of you this weekend at Huntsville. We'll be back at the end of the month with the next episode of Ham College. We're almost through with the general pool. I think there's maybe one or not many, couple episodes left. Join us over there, and we'll be back at the middle of next month for the next Amateur Logic. We're going to have all the details on that 14th anniversary sweepstakes coming up for you, and let you know how you can register to win. We'll have details on that in the social media outlets throughout the month, though. So
Yeah, we should have all that finalized by then, I would think.
So
Hopefully.
thanks for being here tonight, everyone. Good time as always, and 7-3, and good DX.
No, 73.
Good time, 7-3.
Yeah, he had a TV show back on in the black and white days. I just vaguely remember it. They would play music. I guess he had an orchestra, and they'd scroll the words on screen or something, and you were supposed to sing along at home.
Yeah, see, nobody really wanted me to watch those sing-along shows.
We should do that for the theme song music. Just bounce the little words around, you know?
Well, as a matter of fact, I just happen to have a copy of the theme song right here with complete lyrics already embedded. You want to watch it?
Go ahead.
It has no sound for some reason.
How are we going to sing to this, Tommy?
No, this thing.
There's, wow.
La 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 la. Boo! Boo!
Now, yeah, you got both words right. And no, it's not rigged. We have not known any of the winners before they won.
Wait a minute. Hold on, George. How can you say it's not rigged when you're giving away a rig?
Moving right along here.
Okay.
No.